We're connecting with community experts. We're connecting with you. This is Connect by 3 News.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to 3 News Connect. Despite our physical separation, our mission is to bring everyone together. I'm Monica Robins, along with Jay Crawford. We are still reporting from our homes, but still bringing you the very latest everyday information on the fight against COVID-19. Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Hi, Monica. I'm doing okay. Good to see you again. We start each and every day with the very latest headlines concerning the coronavirus. And with that in mind, let's dive right in, and we'll start with the numbers. The number now of confirmed positive cases in the United States has topped 164,000. The 3,100 deaths from COVID-19 actually tops the number of fatalities from 9/11. Here at home, our numbers statewide, 1,933 positive cases, but that number was as of yesterday afternoon. That is certain to jump. We'll find out exactly how high during Governor Mike DeWine's briefing later today. Also, Governor DeWine extending in-home schooling until May 1st. That decision was made yesterday. And in Florida, 2 cruise ships carrying dead and sick coronavirus patients is begging with Broward County officials to let them dock. Florida's healthcare system argues they're already too thin to take on more patients. More than 300 U.S. citizens are on both ships combined.
And happening right now, the Cleveland Food Bank has opened lines for distribution once again. This was the line hours before the distribution at the Muni lot even began. The doors, though, just opened, and out there we find our Romney Smith. Romney, tell us what's going on.
Good afternoon, Monica. So you know what? The line was supposed to open at noon, but like you said, because the line was so long, they actually started at 11 a.m. Look at the car behind me. And of course, you're also to see members of the Ohio National Guard. They are here helping with not only traffic flow alongside the Cleveland Police Department, but actually distributing the boxes of prepackaged foods that they took time to sort and put together earlier in the week. Now, the reason that this is so significant is because last week, the Greater Cleveland Food Bank also had a food giveaway, and lines were upwards of 4 miles long. Certainly a lot of people in need, many people losing their jobs, not sure how they're going to put food on the table. So these boxes are really helping people out. The Ohio National Guard will be in our area for the next 3 weeks. They've already been here for 1 week putting this together to make sure that our community is fed. Have at least your trunk has to be empty, and so you make sure that you come in the right way. There are 2 lines to bring us here.
All right, we're obviously having some technical difficulties with Romney. We'll try to get back to her a little while later and get the rest of those details. Jay, back to you.
Monica, thanks. While we're ramping up our stay-at-home orders, which of course is essential in the fight against this disease, it's also important that we ramp up our healthcare system, which in some places being stretched to the absolute limit. Mark Mamick shows us what places in Northeast Ohio could actually become emergency hospitals if need be.
A suburban soccer field, college dorms and convention centers, even New York City's Central Park. Locations being turned into field hospitals to treat people with coronavirus. Ohio elected officials and hospital directors are planning for the same thing, just in case. Hospitals are not talking about their plans publicly, but Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Health Director Dr. Amy Acton have said more beds could be needed.
Hospital and hotel rooms differently. Maybe we're using dorms. All of that is in progress. There is not one final answer, but that is what we're working on 24/7.
In Cleveland, turning the IX Center into a field hospital has been discussed. Sources have told 3 News, a possibility also noted by Dr. Acton at Monday's news conference.
Centers for more mildly ill folks, that might be a build out of something like a convention center, like an IX or Duke.
Ohio has more than 1,900 confirmed cases of coronavirus, a number that grows each day. 25% of those cases required hospitalization. Ohio has the room to treat patients for now, in part because Ohio's hospitals have canceled elective surgeries.
We're at 54% occupancy across, it varies by hospital, on our med-surg beds that are in current use. 30% of our ventilators currently are in use. Now we need to free up all the way up to 100% and then go up to 200% is our goal.
In Ohio, the governor is talking directly with hospital executives, though his office didn't respond to questions about details of those discussions. Mark Namick, 3 News.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. In New York, their field hospital in Central Park is now open. What a bizarre sight this is, too. The field hospital began setting up over the weekend. Each tent has 68 beds inside, including 10 ICU beds, in order to treat patients with coronavirus. And today, construction is expected to begin at the home of the U.S. Open Grand Slam tennis tournament, the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. The facility there should hold as many as 350 beds, and the center's Armstrong Stadium will become a commissary that will package 25,000 meals per day to serve medical professionals and others. And in places like Los Angeles and Detroit, their convention centers are turning into hospitals as well. The North American International Auto Show even canceled in Detroit to make room for the hospital beds coming there. Monica?
Thanks, Jay. But what about the smaller, more rural parts of America? There are no big buildings or even much of communication besides word of mouth. So our Betsy Kling takes a look at how they're taking on the virus.
In a place where hustle and bustle are more like a relaxing trot, the worry is just the same.
I think we're probably missing a lot that's going on in our smaller towns and rural populations.
Dr. Tara Smith is a professor of epidemiology at Kent State University. She's an expert in how pathogens spread.
Even if you're in a county maybe that hasn't seen coronavirus cases diagnosed yet, it doesn't necessarily mean people aren't sick with it there. It just means they haven't been found.
65 miles south of Cleveland is Millersburg, Ohio, where the county health district has been watching the spread of the coronavirus and waiting.
I think we always plan for things like this being possible, but what we're not prepared for is just how unprecedented and how quick this is.
And how far-reaching. Holmes County Health Commissioner Michael Durr says while it may seem that social distancing wouldn't be a problem in the country, keep in mind, fewer people, fewer everything. There are just a handful of grocery stores and one Walmart. There is also only one hospital in the entire county.
That poses a big struggle for us here in rural Holmes County, and I know some of my partners are in the same situation that we are. We have to remember we're all in this together, Ohio.
And just yesterday afternoon, Holmes County confirmed its first case of coronavirus. There are still 19 of Ohio's 88 counties with no reported cases. But as we've just heard, that doesn't mean they're not there. It just means people are not sick enough to be tested yet. And today at Giant Eagle, plexiglass will be installed between the cashier and the customer at the checkout counter. The barriers go up at 2 p.m. at the Westlake store. They'll look much like the barriers you'll find at local Acme stores. And with all the precautions grocery stores are taking, well, workers say there's more than meets the eye inside the stores. Today, Whole Foods workers are staging a nationwide sick out. Organizers are calling on Whole Foods to provide paid leave for anyone under self-quarantine instead of coming to work and providing health care coverage for part-time employees. Now, in a statement, Whole Foods says their employees' well-being is a top priority. The sick out was originally planned for May 1st, but was moved up in response to reports that workers started testing positive for COVID-19. Jay?
Monica, it is no secret that local restaurants are struggling mightily to stay afloat. So a local initiative is taking up that call today. It's officially Takeout Tuesday, started by Ohio City Incorporated. It aims to support their local businesses, but many of you wonder, is takeout safe to eat? We're connecting with aerosol scientist Lindsay Marr about that.
Overall, I think the risk is pretty low. If you're worried, you can use disinfecting wipes to wipe it off, I guess, before you handle it, and then wash your hands.
Of course, if you are still concerned about safety, you just don't go during business time, or busy hours rather, or you can bring your own containers to put the food in at the restaurant. Your questions about the coronavirus are a huge concern for us, and each day at noon we set aside a little bit of time to connect your questions with our medical experts. Today, Monica is talking with an ER doctor about some common misconceptions concerning the coronavirus. That's today's Health Hub.
Joining me in the Health Hub is Assistant Medical Director for University Hospital's Emergency Department, Dr. Robert Hughes. What is the biggest misconception you're getting from people who come into the emergency department?
I think it's that there's this dichotomy that some people have where it either is something that isn't a thing and doesn't matter and we shouldn't be worried about, and those people are gathering in large events and potentially spreading disease. And then there's the other side of the coin where there's people who are overly scared and are going to grocery stores and buying things in bulk, and people who are taking up vital personal protective equipment and wearing masks when it's not proven to be helpful and they need to be, in fact, social distancing. And I think that it would be beneficial for everybody to know that the truth lies in the middle. This is a disease that can be potentially devastating. It's more communicable than the flu, and as we are finding, has a higher potential death rate than the flu. Be that as it is, taking the mild steps of just social distancing and good hand hygiene and making sure we cover our mouth when our cough, while we protect the most at-risk population, the elderly, people with medical comorbidities, I think that is where the truth lies, and I think that will both temper people's response to this, but also make them aware of how important it is to act now. Everybody is susceptible. And I think that people who are young and otherwise healthy, who understand that there is going to be a larger contingent of them that don't have severe symptoms, may underplay the amount of risk that they're undertaking by social gatherings and going to beaches and spring break down in Florida. And I think that sadly that translates to an increased risk of disease transmission, whether they become symptomatic or not. To your point, we are seeing a lot more people who are younger who are being affected by this. The 20 to 40 age group is making up a not insignificant portion of people who are affected.
Committed to bringing you facts, not fear. Monica Robins, 3 News.
All right, thanks to Dr. Hughes. We'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that our Russ Mitchell will talk one-on-one with Ohio Health Director Dr. Amy Acton today. You can see that interview on 3 News at 6 and 11. And in fact, in between, you can tune in at 10 o'clock Eastern tonight for NBC's coronavirus special. Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb will take you to the epicenter of the virus in New York City. They'll show you the potential new hotspots, and we'll hear updates from healthcare heroes on the front lines. That's right here on 3 News at 10 o'clock tonight. And to get a direct link to all of your coronavirus coverage on your phone, all you need to do is text the word FAX to 216-344-3300. That's a text message, FAX, 216-344-3300. 3 News Connect is coming right back.
Upgrade your home fast.
It's no secret that this pandemic can be especially scary for anyone who's suffering from anxiety, and it's also bringing on forms of anxiety in people who didn't even think they had it. Some may make up symptoms of the virus in their bodies. Some may never want to leave the house. So how do you cope? Well, Cleveland life coach Tasha Brandt suggests getting out of your head.
Bringing things down into our body so that we can really be present with what we're feeling. Maybe that looks like a deep breath. Maybe that looks like meditating. Maybe that looks like stretching between episodes on Netflix. Whatever that is to you, finding ways to connect with your body so that you're able to actually feel what your body needs. That is so, so important right now.
And if you need help doing that, Tasha hosts clarity sessions on her Facebook page at Tasha Brandt. And there's been a lot of talk about toilet paper. We'll get to that in a second. Jay, back to you.
Yeah, there's been too much talk about toilet paper for my liking. The stay-at-home order, Monica, has brought a lot of families together, whether they like it or not. We're in very close quarters now. But parents, you know the feeling. You're trying to work at home. You're trying to do all the meals, get all the kids and their homework done. It can be an overwhelming feeling. The good news, though, Cleveland Clinic children's psychologist Dr. Emily Mudd says, we are not in this alone.
We really want to stress that to just be forgiving of yourself in this time period, of your partner, of your children. Everybody is going under stress and big changes together. So really have some grace with yourself right now.
We want to keep you up to date with the latest facts on the coronavirus and its impact. To get a direct link to our coverage on your phone, you can just text the word facts to 216-344-3300. 3 News Connect is coming right back.
Each year, more and more car accident victims are calling attorneys for help. Shouldn't you?
Call Nuremberg Paris.
As the coronavirus lockdown continues, many that play college spring sports have a bit of good news here. The NCAA is giving spring athletes another year of eligibility, meaning that if the seniors are to miss this season, they will get another one next year, and that's certainly good news for all of those that were worried about that. Each school will decide how much scholarship aid to give each athlete, meaning they could get a spot on the team, but not athletic scholarship money. When it comes to winter sports, they will not be getting another season of eligibility.
Wow. Well, Jay, we talked a little bit about toilet paper before, so let me fill you in what we were talking about. A lot of talk about toilet paper shortages, also an increase in the use of disinfecting wipes, and all of that can lead to some major issue for the sewer system. Mike Polk connects with some of the experts about what you should and shouldn't send down the toilet.
Last week, I did a story focusing on the great toilet paper panic of 2020. Paper towels, not great for flushing. So you can imagine my shock when I was called out online by none other than the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer for giving people what they considered to be questionable advice. So I decided to reach out to my latest online adversary directly to clear the air.
So your Twitter account came at me pretty hard about that story. First of all, are we cool?
We're totally cool. We are totally cool. We just want to set the record straight and make sure that everybody knows what should go down the toilet and what should go in the trash can.
The first suggestion, though, was tissues, like Kleenex. Everybody was surprised that you are not supposed to use Kleenex or tissues. Is that right?
Have you ever forgotten left a tissue in your pocket and you go ahead and you wash your jeans, you put them through the dryer and you still have bits of tissue that are in your dryer?
It's a nightmare.
It's horrible and you're picking the lint everywhere. But the tissue, like facial tissue, does not break apart like toilet paper does.
Obviously, paper towels can be a bit bulky. And then the last thing I offered was, if you worst comes to worst, a high school yearbook, which, again, you wouldn't recommend.
Definitely not.
What if you had a really bad high school experience?
I had a great high school experience.
Okay, well, then we're coming from different places. What is some of the weirdest stuff that you guys have ever found that somebody flushed?
We got the entire second season of Glee one time.
It's quite a critique.
One after the other. The CDs kept coming through one. We had somebody call a treatment plant one time because they accidentally flushed their dentures and they wanted to know if we found them.
Probably by that point, you just gotta cut your losses. Okay, so worst comes to worst. I definitely, obviously, couldn't use this dish rag.
I mean, you could use it, but don't flush it.
Here's something else that I thought would be pretty absorbent. What about like one of these big foam #1 fingers?
Don't flush a giant.
Don't flush it, even though it would be, I could tell it could really sop up a lot. How about a dream catcher?
Why?
Well, you got the feathers. I hadn't thought it through. I don't know. Well, you're definitely gonna say no to this. This is my last one, but not a RoboCop action figure.
No, and I'm starting to get real worried about you, Mike.
You've been a bit of a party pooper, but you have been very informative. Thank you for making the time.
So the sewer district and I managed to bury the hatchet, and I learned about some of the many things that are not considered flushable, which, as it turns out, is everything but toilet paper. Who knew? Take note, Northeast Ohio. This is Mike for 3 News.
You know, Jay, I have a feeling that Mike Polk's parents had to go through a lot of plumbers, because I'm wondering how much stuff he flushed down the toilet when he was a kid.
I actually met Mike's father a couple of months ago. And yeah, you're right. And I couldn't help but wondering when I met Mike's dad, who's a lovely man, by the way, I couldn't help but wondering, I need to get him alone away from Mike sometime for about an hour and just get all the stories, because I guarantee you they're side splitting and there are too many to tell in that hour's time. Mike's a one of a kind. He's a treasure and we love him. We're coming right back with more 3 News Connect after this. Yeah, it was great info. We've been telling you this, but we want to drive this home. If you want, it's kind of one-stop shopping. Just text the word FAX to 216-344-3300. That way, if you can't be in front of the TV and you want to know what's going on with the very latest, it's kind of one-stop shopping. All of the latest coronavirus news sent directly to your phone. We're back right after this. Welcome back to 3 News Connect. Before we get ready to go, we want to give you the 3 coronavirus headlines that have you talking at this hour. In the U.S., 164,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases, more than 3,100 deaths, and that number now officially tops the number lost during the 9/11 attacks. There are 1,933 cases in Ohio. That number is sure to climb when Governor Mike DeWine gives his daily news briefing later today. And also, yesterday, Governor DeWine extending in homeschooling until May 1st. There are a couple of cruise ships carrying dead and sick coronavirus patients that are begging with Broward County officials to let them dock. Florida's healthcare systems argue they're already too thin to take on more patients. More than 300 U.S. citizens are on both ships combined.
Thanks, Jay. You know, we love the stories of neighbors helping neighbors, and it doesn't get much better than this one. Westlake police officers and the city's community services department teamed up to deliver 100 bags of sunshine to senior citizens. 3 local businesses donated items to fill the bags. Inside, there are positive quotes, tea, cookies, puzzles, yes, and even a roll of toilet paper with a funny message on it. Police officers personally delivered each bag to seniors all across the city. What a great story. We love hearing those.
Yeah, it really is. Definitely 3 heroes. We want to see your heroes. Send us a photo and a brief description of someone that fits that bill. You can text it to us. We want to share them on the air. Again, text that photo and a brief description, 216-344-3300.
Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. You know we'll be back tomorrow with more 3 News Connect.
And I'll be along with Betsy Kling at 5 and the whole 3 News team with What's New. See you then.
Heroes aren't born,